welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna talk about 3 things that we wish we knew before coming to Malta and how to move to Malta based on our experience coming here.
The first thing we're going to talk about is budget.
Well, obviously, budgeting and planning is...
Crucial for moving.
Yes, it is.
When we were thinking about moving to Malta, we actually planned it for 1 year, so we gave us enough time to save up the money that we're going to need for move, because moving is not cheap.
It always depends where you're from, but these were our expenses.
Usually the airplane tickets are cheapest for us because we always fly with Ryanair and they have the best prices.
Yeah.
And so I would assume that wasn't no more than 200 euros for the flight.
Yeah, obviously we spent most of the flight ticket money on luggage because you need to take some things with you unless you're a complete minimalist.
We moved with 3 suitcases each, so in total we had 6 suitcases,
Yeah,
4 check-in bags and 2 in-cabin bags. We'll show you the photo because I have. Now we're going to talk about what other things you will need to account for when you're moving, and the second thing is the first necessities and where are you going to stay in your new host country.
It will mostly depend on yourself how quickly you will get a new place, but the way we planned it in was that we gave ourselves 2 weeks first. We stayed in Airbnb for 2 weeks, and then we had booked another 2 weeks in another place just in case, but we had free cancellations in case we wouldn't need those second 2 weeks.
It was about 1,200 euros. We stayed in Sliema for 2 weeks, and obviously from the price you can see that it was quite expensive apartment. However, it was important for us to have a washing machine inside and a kitchen, so we wouldn't need to spend money on washing our clothes or eating out. So in a way it was more expensive up front. However, we had some things included that we didn't need to pay for it later.
And obviously a place to stay, but obviously it depends where you're going to stay. You could probably find a cheaper place, but for us it was also important that there are more jobs available in central areas, so it kind of helped that we stayed in Sliema for a while. So after that you have to count in that you're going to need an actual place that you're going to rent, an apartment most probably, and that actually is quite a big chunk from the savings or the budget that will go out, because first of all you have to pay the first month's rent. It depends how much the place will cost. Then you have to pay the same deposit, so double your first month's rent, and if you're gonna go by agency, then it takes 1/2 of the first month's rent for the agency fees if they help you find the place, which I actually believe, I think it's better to do with agency because it's easier, there's more options, and your landlord is an actual company, not just this one person who is your landlord. And I don't know, I think it felt more safe to do that way, even though it costs upfront that agency fee.
I also feel like if you don't go with agency and you just post an ad on Facebook, for example, but trying to find an apartment without agency fees, I don't think you will have that many responses, as you will just you won't be able to find the location you want or the price you want or even the apartment size or whatever. I think your options are limited when you go to owners only.
Yeah, and another benefit from agencies is if that's like a company owned house or apartments, most of the times for any maintenance work they're responsible for it, so you can just, if something happens, for example in the beginning when we moved in, our washing machine was molded, rotten, rusted. It was like, I don't know, it stayed here for quite a while. They never changed it, but we could just ask them that we would rather not put our clothes in something like that, and we
made a point that we're not going to wash our clothes in there, and then they changed it for us, which obviously makes sense. You have to be reasonable with your requests. However, in our case, we were proving that there's mold inside, we're not going to wash our clothes. Also, I believe that if you're renting from a company, they're not that keen for you to move out anytime soon, because they will rent this place to a next customer as well. So if you rent from a private person, you're never going to know when they want the apartment back for someone else or something like that. But in this case, they just want the place to be rented and they don't really care how long you want to stay, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
In our case, we spent about 2,000 euros when we first came in. in the apartment because we needed to pay all those fees and the first month's rent. So obviously that's on top of the first place that we stayed already, only for 2 weeks, because that's where you need to plan in as well, because where are you going to stay, and then where are you going to stay after the long term when you actually sign your lease on your apartment.
Yeah, because from all the things that you still need to do to actually legally move, address is the very first thing you need to do to get the other points ticked
Sorted.
off. Yeah, exactly. So
it's your first stop. Get your address once you're actually landed in the country. Start your long-term rent somewhere so you have permanent address so you can move on with your things.
When we talk about necessities, that's another thing that you have to keep in mind, that, for example, even though you have the apartment, there's still a lot of things you need to buy to move in. For example, we didn't have a kettle when we moved in, so we had to buy that.
There's actually a lot to take into consideration because not all apartments will be well equipped. So even if you don't have a bed to sleep on, or if you don't have anything to cook with, like pots and pans, the things that you usually don't think about because they are just like obvious things in apartment. When you first move in, they are not that obvious, so you will need to spend up front.
Yeah, we didn't have knives, we didn't have bed sheets, pillows.
And those things, they cost, they easily add up. You think you will spend, I don't know, 30 euros here, 30 there, and then it's like it just kind of accumulates. And it is an expense you can't avoid, but you also need to plan for it. Also, we moved here in October and it was kind of turning into winter already, and then 1 month after we needed to buy an oil heater just to keep our bedroom warm. So obviously if you're moving in summer you probably will be alright, but if you move in winter, another thing to keep
we needed a vacuum cleaner, we needed a hair dryer, all these little things. Plus you need to eat, so you still need to eat, so you're going to spend a lot of money on food as well. So all these little things, it's best to budget in.
For sure, you're gonna need them. There's no other way. So the next thing what you're gonna need is to go and get Maltese phone number, so you can be accessed from your work, or you can be just using the local services that they provide.
Yeah, you can get internet on your phone, so you can use maps and understand which part of Malta you are, and where your job interviews are gonna be. And yeah, that's the next part. You need to get a job offer. Not necessarily a job, but at least an offer, because that's the way you'll sort out the next part of moving to Malta.
In Malta, that's a common thing. If you're a foreigner, they will have you on an interview and then they will send you a job offer. This is going to be usually a formal email with your contract and your salary included. And then with that kind of thing, then you can move on and get your legal documents sorted, because without a job offer you're not going to be able to get security number, which is kind of a part of what you need to start living here legally.
Yeah, that's why you need your address, because then you'll know your locality, and then you'll go to your local council, which then will issue that social security number, but they will only give it to you if you have the job offer and obviously the address. Because if, for example, if we live in Sliema, then we have to go to Sliema local council, but we can't go to Valletta. Yeah, exactly. So every little city has their own rules, so that's why you need the address and things like that, and the job offer. Then you get your social security number. Once you get that, you move on to the next step, and you get your tax number. And you need your tax number so you could pay taxes here and get a job here as well.
And it's for your employer, so that they can calculate your taxes from your salary, because they will do it for you, but you will need these documents provided.
Yeah. Some jobs will ask you for a clean police conduct, which was something we didn't know before, and we thought, like, what are they considering us criminals or something? But that's a normal procedure here. They just want to see that your police conduct is clear and that you don't have any criminal records before. So then after...
So for the police conduct, you will need to go to the police station, which is in Malta. I think that's the only place in Malta that gives these out, and they cost about €2, and you can pretty much get them in 5 minutes time, unless there's a queue before you, but you're likely to get that sorted within a couple
Yeah.
couple minutes.
It's a fast process, $2, and they just give you this little paper that says, yeah, you're all right, you can be hired.
Unless you're not all right.
Unless you're not. After that, you probably spent some time in Malta already, and now you need to get a local residency card that you're going to be a Malta resident. Yeah, and you have to go to Identity Malta offices.
For these, you will need to prepare a bunch of papers, and you will need to make copies of everything, because they don't scan or copy anything on the place, on the spot. And if you're not prepared, they will send you back, and then you have to come back. However, you can avoid that if you do a little preparation work. There's like a list of things that you'll need to take with you, but once you have that all sorted, you hand those papers to them, and then it takes, again, a couple of weeks. And
a
then,
month, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you need your address, and quite importantly, you need to be working in Malta so that they would issue that residency. And at least for European Union citizens, you have 3 months from arrival to get that sorted. Otherwise, you're kind of not allowed to stay here anymore. So a lot of these forms you can find online. They both have English and Maltese versions so that you can understand what you're filling in.
For us, it took one morning going to Identity Malta. We prepared all the papers that we needed to, and then we filled out a couple of the forms, handed them in, and then they also took the photo of you on the spot for the identity card, so you don't have to take your passport pictures with you. They will do it for you. Then we handed that all in, and in couple weeks or couple let's say month time, you will receive a letter that says that you can come pick your identity cards from the place you applied. Then you go there again, and then you can pick it up, and I guess that's how it all ends. You just have the card and you're okay too. So for the European Union citizens, the residency card, it's valid for 5 years. So once you apply for it, you can keep it for 5 years. You don't have to do anything as long as you live in the country. And then after 5 years, you probably need to renew it.
Yeah, I think actually if you move somewhere else, you have change your address in Malta, you have to change because Maltese government, they know where you live by that residency card. So any legal documents, tax refunds, and the government vouchers, everything was sent to the address that belongs to your residency card.
Yeah, your residency card is linked with your address.
So once you have sorted all of those things, and now you have all of your residency cards and permits and all those things, and you have a job, now you need a bank card, a Maltese bank card. And we took completely different ways, each of us.
For me, when I got my job offer and when I had all the address, everything that's needed for the bank, I went to Bank of Valletta and I submitted my application for Bank of Valletta card. And it's pretty straightforward process as long as you have valid address in Malta and as long as you have job, because they will ask why are you needing a bank account, and there's only a couple options why you might need a bank account, and one of those are to get paid, or if you have like any benefits or anything, that kind of thing, it also works. But for us, like just a simple way of getting a bank account would be to deposit the paycheck.
You also need the residency card. Of course, you can use your passport, but
at that time when I applied, I didn't have residency card. I only had a job offer, and I had the address, and that seemed to be alright. But it's easier if you have a residency card, then you won't need all these other things like a job offer or like a permanent. Probably it's a lot straightforward if you only have the card, but at the time I didn't.
I took the route that takes a lot of foreigners, especially the ones that are not from European Union. Everyone here has a Revolut card, which is very popular. Even people with BOV cards have both, because you can easily transfer money between everyone just by having a phone number, and you don't need any banks. They just send you this plastic card that looks like a regular bank card. And
here in Malta, it's extremely popular to have Revolut. It's nothing like unusual.
Yeah, every single store, every single vendor, anyone will accept the Revolut payment. And yeah, so I have that.
That was an extension to this video. We're gonna give you 3 tips or things that we wish we knew before moving here. So you can consider them as well before you move. And the first of the things is that Malta is going to be loud, like loud, okay? So be aware.
Most parts of the day, you have a couple of silent hours at middle of the night when you're already asleep, but in the evenings and early mornings throughout the day, they're gonna either build something which makes a big noise. They like to rev their engines in cars to show off their car, even if it's like an old little cheap car, they'll still show off, so it's gonna be loud. Motorbikes, they like to show that they have bikes. Music, they will play music everywhere, so you're gonna go to the beach, they're gonna show off who has the best speakers that will...
Yeah, they take their speakers to the beach, and then just like, even if it's couple meters away from each other, they have the music on their own, and then just like goes together.
Yeah, even in buses, people think it's totally normal to listen on the phone speakers.
They do like this, they just like hold their phone to the ear, and they also watch videos like this, they just hold them to the ear and be like...
So like earphones is not that popular, but yeah, it's a loud, very loud place. Then we have fireworks, which we mentioned a couple of times. Fireworks will happen. Church bells. So and
neighbors, people on the street, dogs.
Yeah, dogs. So
you get it. It's gonna be...
It's loud. It's loud. Yeah. Valette also has the cannons that they'll shoot. So all sorts of different noises that we never really got used to. Okay, number 2. Just in general, planning-wise, this is quite a slow-paced country.
Yeah, if you think you're gonna be able to move here, and in the week 2 you're gonna get your apartment and job and all that, it might not go as fast. Even if you go to job interview, they might take a week or 2 to follow up with you. And even if you got a job, it will still take a couple weeks for you to start. And it's like, so be prepared, it's gonna be a little bit longer than you think it would be.
Yeah, a little side tip for that is that, for example, for emailing and text messages, don't expect them to reply the same day or the same week. So chasing an email is totally normal. Sending kind reminders 5 times is totally normal until you get the answer. So if you want things to move faster, phone calls is more popular. So calling everyone and getting the confirmations will speed up things a little bit. But yeah, everything just happens a bit more chill here, and no one is here to plan months ahead.
Even there is something you can't really call for, is in case you need to change your documents, or if you need to change your license. It's not like the call will solve your issue. You will still need to wait a couple of weeks for them to process your application and send the thing that you're looking for. It's not going to be like the same
instant. Yeah, it takes time for everything. So yeah, things are a bit slower here and more chill.
So the next thing what we're gonna say about Malta is that everything is imported here. We're a small island. We don't create a lot. We don't have a big industry here. Like starting from food to clothes to cars to appliances to your homeware, everything is imported. And we don't have these big giant chains as we're used to in Europe, like H&M, IKEA, we don't have Primark. We have a couple IKEA things here and there imported from other companies that will carry, let's say, one type of bowl from IKEA and one type of closet from IKEA, but it's not like the whole shop where you can go, and so it's gonna be a little bit more expensive because of it, and it's gonna be like you're gonna use Zara as your fast fashion because it's pretty much the only outlet that they have.
The big one, yeah. So everything that we needed, like online shopping, most of the times it comes from another country because it has to be shipped here, so obviously that will take longer as well. So yeah, all my electronics, all my cameras, and anything you think, H&M clothing, if you're interested in that, you know, yeah, everything is shipped here. Food is shipped here. That also takes like time for everything, and also charges. Even eBay and Amazon shops are like the prices are as always, but the shipping is like 3 or 4 times more the price of your product. So
a lot of the items you won't even be able to get, because if you use Amazon Italy or Amazon Germany, that's, I think, or even before the Brexit, the UK was the one we used. However, now it's even, that is more complicated. So if you switch from Germany, some items won't be delivered to Malta because Malta's too small and they don't want to bother with.
Yeah, so you have to keep count that not everything is as available, but obviously it's not that bad either. So you still get your things, might just cost a little bit more than anywhere else.
I think for one thing that I really missed from UK was the cheap socks from Primark, because now that I have to pay for the 5 tiny socks like 10 euros, whereas in Primark it was 2 euros. I kind of miss that thing. Obviously you get used to it. However, it's just like the things that you don't want to pay money in here, you're gonna have to, because you don't have that many options.
The first thing I noticed when we moved, I wanted to get some studio lights for the videos, and in UK I got them for $30. They just sent them from one city to another, and that was a reasonable price for me. They were nice lights. And then I wanted to get the same lights here, also $30, but the shipping was $60, so they were $100 for the lights. So it's quite steep, so I decided not to get them.
And sometimes you have to wait in line for items to even arrive here. So if you want the latest technology, there will be a delay. So a couple months longer for your Apple products.
Yeah,
or even we ordered a chair from from Jusk, and it took like 3 months to deliver, even though it was already ordered for Malta. It just takes a bit longer, even if you're like, that's just a couple examples. However, you will face them once you actually live here.
Your newest iPhones and MacBooks, like, they're announced now and everyone has them, and then you kind of have to wait until they're finally shipped to the authorized resellers here in Malta.
Mm-hmm.
So those are just a little few things that we wish we knew, but we're kind of used to most of it because we've been here
We
for
don't buy a lot, to
Yeah.
be honest. I don't know, just something to keep in mind. It's gonna be a little bit harder to get hold of.
If you have any questions regarding any other things that surprised us, or to be more in detail about how we moved here, just any questions at all about Malta and stuff like that, definitely leave them in the comment section. We would like to read them and answer all of them.
And since we have people watching from other countries that are also considering moving, or even the people who already did the move, you can let us know what difficult or different things you faced while moving.
Yeah.
here.
So I guess we're gonna end the video here. If you like this video, you could leave a like. If you want us to make similar videos like this one, click the subscribe button as well. And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye.
Bye.